Week 5 out of 52. Week 5, absolutely killer. Honestly, it was an amazing week. So the reason that week 5 was an amazing week was because it was kind of like a micro hero's journey, right? Went through a little bit of strife and stuff during the week. Mentally, I was in a place I didn't want to be. And then at the second half of it, I was like, you know what? I got to double down on walking the path that God has laid out for me. And I really focused on that specifically. And Thursday specifically, I was let out of school early because it was raining. And like I had to align myself with God. All right. I was speaking to God a lot. I was talking to him. I was setting things right. And I could feel spiritually I was doing that. You can feel in your heart when you're really aligning yourself with the will of God, right? I'm a new Christian. I'm like a baby Christian. So I'm trying to do things as correctly as possible, but I'm obviously ignorant in a lot of the subjects of Christianity because, like I said, I am a baby Christian. But you can feel it, like spiritually. Even before I was, you can feel that, like in your soul, when you're walking with the Holy Spirit, So I felt like I had got that connection, and I was feeling good, and I was like in a flow state. Anyone that's experienced a flow state, maybe high performing athletes who would relate to this, when everything just lines up perfectly and you're just doing things without even thinking about it. That's what I was doing, like cleaning up the house, getting everything in order, and it was beautiful. I really felt aligned with God. And what really cemented it for me after that experience, because some people are like, oh yeah, you're just pretending, like, okay, whatever, bro. Atheists, nerds. I walked out through some trash, bro. And I look up, just randomly I look up, and I see a white owl pass right on top of me. I'm like, whoa, white owl. I've never seen one of those. Obviously, any sort of educated person knows that. Birds tend to represent symbols, especially in literature. Whenever a black bird, the main character sees a black bird in a forest and they're about to go through a perilous journey, it usually symbolizes something. I was like, what does a white owl symbolize? I search it up. Well, a white owl symbolizes transformation, and wisdom and a kind of renewed sense of self. And I was like, whoa, maybe is it a coincidence that I felt this, alignment with God, and that I got into this flow state, and then I go out and throw trash, and as soon as I'm walking out and doing this, I see a white owl that signifies transformation and change and wisdom. I'm like, crazy. It kind of gave me, when I read that, it gave me goosebumps. I might be looking into it too much. I might be completely delusional, but I want to live in that delusion. That's the delusion I want to live in. There's certain delusions you don't want to live in. This one is one of those you want to live in. And it gives you that confidence, right? So after that, Monday through Thursday, it was kind of whatever. I was still killing in school, still doing what I had to do, murdering it in the gym. It wasn't a bad week up until Thursday, but after Thursday, everything just skyrocketed. I felt so much better. Mental clarity times 10, for real. So I felt so aligned and focused. Maybe it's because I'm aligning myself with God, like truly, really making sure I'm doing things that I know I need to get done. No deviation. If there's a deviation, it's very minimal compared to what it was before. And after that, like I said, after Thursday, amazing. Killing it. Been a great week. And I'm hungry, bro, for more. I'm ready to keep going and going and going. But yeah, I think this also is a positive aspect in the fact that obviously, first month of the year, done. Second month is here. First week of it, getting it completed, Obviously the week started the week of the month started on Thursday, but still, like, first week of the month is complete. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. And I can kind of sense the momentum of the things that I've been doing since slightly before New Year's have been adding up, right? Because I made a conscious decision to change my mental framework to be for the better, which is where the whole concept of the video game idea came from. I'm like, okay, pretend life is a video game and grind at it every day. It's really that simple. Like everybody understands that concept because everybody has played video games, especially the big nerds who like have level 100 in whatever video game do grinding. Like you understand exactly what it is to spend hours and hours and hours and hours grinding at something just to level up your online character. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that, but in real life, and it works, 100% does. And another concept that people would really understand, especially video game nerds, is like there's deep lore in these video game worlds, or even in these books that people read, like fiction books. There's deep convoluted lore that is so extreme. It's lifelike, and that's the thing. It's lifelike, but life has that times 10. It does. You study any subject deep enough, you go down rabbit hole, and down another rabbit hole, and you're like, whoa. I'm like, why wouldn't I put that same kind of dedication that I was putting onto like foreign subjects that aren't even, they're literally fiction, and apply that into my real life? You know, it just makes sense in my head. And this all came from the whole change in the mental framework came from ingesting these kinds of videos, right? Obviously, one of the most well-known people on the planet, Andrew Tate, Unplugged from the Matrix, is what he says all the time. Oh, you're Matrix control. Most people are. Like, you can define the Matrix as whatever you want to be. He defines it as something. Luke Belmore defines it as something else. But kind of like, the Matrix is really, who is controlling your default settings? Is it you? I'm like, wait, all right, default settings. What is default settings? Well, that's the things you revert to when you're kind of in a crisis mode, like when you're really angry or you're really hungry or you're going through something emotionally. You go to your default settings. And where is most people's defaults? Most people's default settings are not pleasant to be around at all. Most people have like self-destructive default settings. Like when people are going through difficult times, they kind of like self-destruct. I'm like, that's true. I can't have that. So when Tate is saying, you know, unplug from the Matrix, or someone like Luke Belmar, or Patrick McDavid talking about the establishment, and Jake Paul talking about default settings, I kind of correlated that. All these three people talking about default settings, Matrix, and all that correlates to like the Matrix is trying to control your default settings. They want you to be a consumer. Kind of the way I look at it. I might be completely naive in the whole aspect of it because I am a 22-year-old man barely going through life, but still, I'm trying to analyze the situation as best as I can. So let's say that assumption is correct. The Matrix is trying to control your default settings, and your default settings are reverting to consumerism, where you just ingest content. I don't know if you have ever done that, where you scroll through Reels for an hour, or Instagram, or YouTube Shorts, or TikTok fucking videos, right? Your brain is numb. Your brain is numb and it's not active, it's not thinking, it's just fucking dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit. It's absolutely disgusting. Going through it is disgusting. I stopped doing it, and now when I see it in other people, I'm absolutely disgusted. And I go up to them like, bro, what are you, especially if they're a family member and I see them doing that, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're literally killing your brain cells. Stop it. It makes you think like an absolute idiot. So if that is most people's default settings, it completely makes sense why they're all going down the wrong path. The path of hedonism, or, you know, atheism, or et cetera, all these weirdo ideas that don't lead down any good path. And they tend to have a negative correlation to it anyways. People who think like that usually have very depressive or on anti-anxiety medication, and they're like, woe is me, victim mentality. Dude, why do you want to live life like that? When I think about these people, I question, like, do they not understand that they can change the way they think to be in a more positive light? That's the whole thing I try to do with my family members. Because after I started changing my thinking, my life became way more positive. My mental state became way more positive. And now instead of seeing all the darkness around me, I see all the light, focus on that, and I try to spread it. And life has been improving steadily. It's like a hack, you know, like people want, you know, short tips or pro tips or a hack to something. Like, that's a hack right there. Focus on the light, whatever the light is for you, that positive thing that you know that it makes your soul feel good, because everybody has a soul. People forget that we live in mind, body, and soul. I try to develop all three. How do you develop the body? Well, you develop it through working out in the gym, in any type of regard, calisthenics, bodybuilding, whatever you want to do, do it. You want to run, develop your body. Then develop your mind, read books, ingest information that is useful to you, that is going to give you leverage to improve your life, right? For example, like how to do better workouts so you get better muscle retention, or what your macros should be in order to get a certain physical type, or if you're not good at talking to women, how you would pick up women, right? Things of this nature. And then the last one, spiritually, mind, body, and spirit. Well, what are you doing spiritually? Like, do you have a religion? Do you not have a religion? Do you believe in God? If you don't believe in God, why don't you believe in God? Like, talk about these things. Think about it through. I think eventually, if you don't believe in God, you're going to believe in something. You have to. And like people are, oh, I don't believe in anything. I don't have a religion. Like you have something you glorify. Everybody has something they glorify. We're meant to worship. If you look at people's behaviors, you can see that. It's just pay attention to the world, and you will find out these things very, very quickly. And that's another thing. People don't tend to pay attention to anything because their mind now is so scrambled with the consumerism, and we live in an attention economy, so it makes sense. They want you to be focused on exactly what the Matrix is telling you to be focused on. Like legacy media. Legacy media completely controls so many different factors of life. So many different ones. And they all lie to you. Everybody knows that legacy media constantly lies. So why do we pay any attention to them? Well, thankfully, a lot of people are coming off of those platforms, and then free speech platforms are growing quite rapidly, actually, which is amazing. Gives me so much hope for humanity. X skyrocketing, Rumble skyrocketing, and then all the legacy media is going down. Like you quick Google search and you'll find out it's true. People like Tucker Carlson, absolute legends, man, absolute legends. They don't care about censorship because it doesn't exist anymore. Andrew Tate killed that concept of censorship. Amazing. And now people have been riding that like crazy. Why is Tate one of the most influential men in the world? Because he killed censorship. Got canceled, didn't get canceled, just became more popular. Trump is another great example of that. And then Russell Brand is another great example of that. All these people are amazing people who are breaking the mold of society for good, And why do you think the legacy media is attacking all of these people I just mentioned? And not just them, also Vivek Ramaswamy being attacked mercilessly. Dude's amazing. Have you heard his talking points? Absolutely insane. That guy is for America. Like through and through. Someone like Elon Musk, who has done so much for society, bought X, formerly Twitter, now X, and has been pushing free speech, also getting attacked relentlessly by the media, by the legacy media. But then when you have all those new platforms that are coming up, and everybody's noticing the shift. There's a shift happening in society, which makes me so, so hopeful. I'm so happy for it, and I'm excited to see exactly where this path is headed down towards. For me personally, like I said, I'm excited. I see the light. I'm happy for it. Spiritually, I feel great. Physically, I feel great. Mentally, I feel great because I have been slowly changing all of my habits. Slowly changing them. And I want you to do that as well. If there's anything that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, change it. I mean, it's up to you. Nobody else can control that but you. Like, truly. And I can't tell you, stop watching porn. Maybe you don't watch porn. Stop watching that. Maybe you don't watch Netflix. Maybe you don't do certain things, but there's always something that somebody can improve on. Like, nobody's perfect. No one's Jesus Christ. No one is God. We are all human. We all have our flaws, and there's always something we can work on. And it's not being a perfect. People are like, oh, you're mentally ill. You're a perfectionist. You're never be perfect. Like, yeah, well, of course not. I understand, but that's the beauty of it. I will always have something to work towards to improve. Always. So it kind of keeps you humble in a sense. Because if you overcome an obstacle, and then you stay in that stage of being prideful for that accomplishment too long, you're going to revert back. You're going to either go back to where you were or fall down even more. Because the whole point is like, okay, cool, I'm happy. I accomplished this, whatever it was. What's the next goal? Oh, this is the next goal. All right, how do I tackle that? Like, it keeps you busy, keeps you preoccupied, and it keeps the ball rolling. You're supposed to go from win to win to win to win. That's actually something my pastor was saying today in church. And I was like, dude, keep preaching. That's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, killer week, guys. Killer week. As you can tell, I'm super amped up, super excited. I have a lot of little changes that I'm conducting in my personal life that seem to be having a positive impact. I'm only a few days into these habits, but I think it's gonna lead to an exponential result down the line, like a year or two. So hopefully you keep tuning into this journey. Follow me on obviously Rumble, obviously YouTube, follow me on Instagram, follow me on X, follow me on all the platforms. All my short form content is all about stoic individuals, all AI generated. If you guys want me to talk about the AI stuff that I do, I can touch up on that as well. I also want to keep talking upon like world issues that I see happening throughout the week because it's super interesting to me, and I'm starting to get very, very interested in the geopolitics of everything. Obviously, like I said, I'm a 22-year-old guy. I'm super naive to a lot of things. I'm barely coming into this world. I understand. I've only been an adult for 4 years, but I find it so amazing how complex the world is, and I would love to decipher it. And if you guys want to be along for that journey, hit a like, subscribe, and keep watching it. Appreciate you guys. Deuces.